What's up? Sorry I'm late.
Hey man, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Better and better.
Where are you from? You got that southern
Kind of
drawl.
say that again.
You got that southern drawl. Where are you from?
Well, I'm currently in North Carolina, but I've moved all over the place from Florida, Hawaii, Indiana,
Where,
Japan, Australia.
where'd
Been
you
around a
grow up?
while. High school is kind of mainly in Florida and Hawaii.
Got it.
Um, so
Nice.
yeah, my dad did construction, so we moved around pretty much a lot.
What part of North Carolina right now?
We're by the Marine bases, Jacksonville, Havelock, New Bern area.
Cool. Yeah, we got some clients out in North Carolina. They're doing good. Sounds
Yeah,
cool.
it's a good
They're out in like
good state.
Raleigh and um wait, no, where's
Yeah,
Elevation
Raleigh.
is but Elevation Worship. You know where Elevation Church is at? Trying to think what city they're in North Carolina.
I'm not too familiar with that church. Probably in Raleigh, the Triad area. That's the big real estate area. And Disney's coming over to North Carolina now too.
Got it. They're in Charlotte. That's right. They're in Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte's blown up as well.
Yeah. It's North Carolina is kind of like the new Florida really in it right now.
Yeah. But cool, man. Well, thanks for hopping on. Tell me a little bit about what you got going on.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. I don't know if he briefed you anything or if you had time to look at home equity invoice agreements.
I have not looked at it yet. You want to show
So
me?
on the basic simplicity of it, all it does is convert a normal construction invoice to a equivalent property equity percentage. So if a contractor's got $10,000 worth of renovation he's doing for something real quick, he can convert that to an equity percentage of that property, allowing the contractor an actual path to wealth. And then also leveraging the homeowner if they have, liquidity restraints, or if you're an investor trying to scale, you can keep that cash in your pocket to use for scaling. So it gives it kind of both the best worlds without, just benefiting one side, not just benefiting the contractor for, getting equity and taking wealth, but also benefiting the homeowner and the investor by keeping their cash liquid for emergencies, for scaling to another business, anything else they currently need to utilize. If you currently look at the options that homeowners have or investors have, you got home equity lines of credits and home equity agreements. Both of those financial products have to use a bank to unlock and utilize your equity. There's not many other, unless you're doing creative financing with like a JV deal or a Renovation agreement, which gets into more advanced structures and LLC stuff that you have to do on that side. This keeps it as simple as a contractor's invoice. And again, it's just converting the equity percentage of their cash invoice. And then it's adaptable on there to where they can create the terms they want. If they want to pay it out in 6 months, if they want to pay it out in a year, if they want to just push it out to whenever the property sells, it's all adjustable to give the homeowner the keys to their equity instead of relying on a bank or a lender to actually unlock your equity for you.
And this could be for any kind of contractor, not just for work done, but if I'm like advising you and you're going to give me equity in your home, I can just use this.
So if you're just advising or being a liaison, you still need a contractor at least to unlock that equity for the homeowner. So if you're just being a liaison or a networking person like a wholesaler, you would then have to get my license, my wealth trading home equity agreement license. And at that point, you're a publicly registered liaison to actually liaison a contractor and a homeowner together. And at that point, you can charge an equity percentage. Again, I'm not trying to push out the wholesalers out of business, but I'm trying to get them to a more secured, hey, homeowner first instead of profit first,
Hmm.
so that they can actually, okay, everything's written down on the contract beforehand and not afterwards where it's all just hidden for the wholesaler to make its value. This gets put up front, and I make it very clear, hey, the current homeowner prices is 2 to 6% if they want to go use a HELOC or a home equity agreement. So wholesalers should be around 2 to 6% to stay competitive for a homeowner to unlock their equity.
So, I mean, I'm hearing like different things of how this would work, but like, correct me if I'm wrong. A contractor can choose to get paid later by basically giving the homeowner a loan themselves, by not taking their construction budget. Now, this would only work if a contractor actually has capital and liquidity themselves because they got to pay their guys and materials and all this stuff. So
Correct.
they're essentially saying, hey, you know, I'll take my profit share with you on the back end. I'll cover the construction cost essentially, and I'll convert that into equity on the back end for the deal. That's scenario one.
Correct.
And then scenario two is, I mean, you're not building it for this, but I was just thinking from a wholesaler innovation standpoint of like, if I got a homeowner and you mentioned innovations, so we do a lot of them. So I'm just thinking like how if this makes innovation any easier for both parties or not.
So for the person that would be structuring that novation agreement, typically, wholesalers that looking for that other avenue of how to do that, it would be to where that wholesaler is just connecting his contractor with the homeowner and doing the valuations for them. So if a contractor and a homeowner don't know how to value a house, but obviously a wholesaler does, a person doing the novation agreement does, that's the value they're bringing to the table for this teamwork to work. So they would hop on and liaison the contractor and the homeowner together to
Why does it have to be an
settle.
actual GC? Like what this contract couldn't work for anything else?
Yeah, any construction work. So even if you're a subcontractor just doing $1,000 paint jobs before a property gets listed. So I know you're a realtor or used to be a realtor. If you have a listing agreement, but a $2,000 or $3,000 paint job could increase the value by 5,000 or increase it by selling quicker.
Yeah.
But people that don't have capital to do long-term investments on bigger renovations, they can still utilize this, get with the real estate agent, find those quick month flips and do $1,000, equity invoice agreement instead of cash. And it unlocks it because homeowners usually, when they're trying to sell the property, they're usually already cash tight.
Yeah. So I guess it's just really only meant for construction loans, essentially. Well, not
Right.
construction, but it allows you to do construction if you don't have the money, and it gives a way for a contractor to basically get a client that couldn't afford them.
Correct.
I get it.
And I get it's more than just affording them too, because as flippers or renovation GCs and whatnot, you'll see like contractors, even quality contractors, they have seasons. Cash only motivates them so much. After they've passed the contractor phase of getting daily cash payments and don't need daily cash payments anymore, they get step into the next level. Okay, I have all this cash. What do I do with it? It's just a liability. It's sitting in my account and I can still scale up my business, but I still got to figure out, go hire a financial manager to go invest that for me. This lets them to do that without having to go rely on a financial manager to put it into an asset you have no control over the quality of. If I'm putting it directly into the home I'm actually building, I'm in control of the quality of that asset, that investment, instead of taking my cash and taking it somewhere else to go invest in somewhere else. And as an investor, you'll see the seasons of, hey, if I got a quality contractor, he may be doing something on the home front that may be demotivating him, or maybe he's cutting corners now for whatever reason. But there's no self accountability in that structure. He knows as soon as he gets paid or as soon as he has a signed invoice, he's liable to get paid and he's done. As soon as he's, obviously for his permits and whatnot, he's got at least a year to hold out, on that. But this holds him out to, hey, your payment and investment is tied to your quality. It's not, hey, you just finish the job and you get paid, and then we bicker about, hey, what the quality was. It's, hey, you're going to do your quality, and the more quality you put into this extra effort, the equity shows and the appreciation when the house gets resold or whenever it gets revalued to get paid out.
Got it. No, I understand. So what can I help you with? I understand what the company does.
So basically I just need influence. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm trying to battle HELOCs, battle home equity agreements, battle wholesaling, battle all these other big influences in the market right now.
Hmm.
I think Alex Ramosi says it best. It's like the deal, the valid the I'm messing up this word. The How valid a framework is how much that framework fits into every other framework out there. And this is something that doesn't just fit for one industry, not the contractors. It fits for the homeowners, the investors, the wholesalers, the realtors, the people that want to get into wealth equity without having to deal with going the realtor route, because the realtor route isn't wealth unless you're going to take your cash and go invest it back into property where you have equity. All these service companies that think they're in the real estate game, there's only two people in the real estate game: homeowners or an investor into a REIT. Those are the only two people that actually get the tax incentives for equity. And that's one of the three pillars. You know what I mean? Appreciation, positive depreciation, and tax incentives. A lot of people say cash flow, but that really just means tax incentives, really.
Got it. So is this your company that you
Right.
started, or okay? How long you guys been going?
So I grew up doing construction since I was 7, and then joined in the Marine Corps. And then after the Marine Corps, I started real estate investing for the last almost decade. This home equity invoice agreements didn't start until around the end of June, and then I got the paperwork, everything back around July. So this is, no one's
Brand
really
new.
heard of it. Yeah, really new. And I wish I had the social proof for everyone with reviews and usage and stuff, but it's too new to do that. And I'm not trying to take the year or 2 years to build that out. I'm trying to jump straight to the top. Look, this is a framework that works because it works in every other framework. So let's start using it now instead of waiting till there's social proof to work it.
So let me play devil's advocate because I've launched lots of products and everything else. And so, like, I know part of it is like you're trying to get the word out there, but also to, I'll give you my feedback and opinion because that's how you're going to reiterate this product. Um, so when you created it, you know, how did your process go with just asking around, if this was solving a problem many people had?
So it mainly came out of my own problems, my own issues I've seen in the construction industry. And then when I switched over from construction to being a homeowner, the issues I had with, HELOCs and trying to find capital for that. And then when I switched over to, investor and I started hiring contractors, this was something that I wanted to do since I was, working for free for my dad. This was something I wanted to tie contractors' quality to the actual value of the home. They're an artist. Like there's still some skill left in the trade for contractors that is a skill. It's an art form. If you've ever done drywall or painting, that stuff's still an artwork and skill form. Plumbing and electrical's gotten a little bit less skillful, more of a lot more easy with the tools we have these days. But it's about tying. It originally started with contractors trying to get paid for the actual home value. Currently, right now, we see it. The construction prices are just going up, 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 and up. And there's nothing tying that to the actual value of the home. Contractors don't really understand home values. They can go look at a home value, but until they go talk to an investor, they don't know all the costs that are in that home value to figure out, hey, what can I actually charge for maximizing my value for this home value that the client's getting out of it. Obviously, there's some other nuances in there as a homeowner and responsibilities you got to take care of. But that started with the contractor issue. And it started with, hey, this last year and a half, and especially in North Carolina, finding quality contractors was non-existent. My properties have been sitting on the market for almost a year for some of those issues of quality issues. If I had them more tied into the property and actually their pay tied into, hey, your quality, and not just from what me and him can discuss, but actual the end market finalizing and saying what your quality is worth, then at that point I wouldn't be in such of a mess right now with the home sitting on the market. And again, the market plays into effect with that also. But this again is another minute solution to better and make a better secured system and framework for everyone. So
And what do you
I
guys
haven't had
charge?
much
How much does it cost? Like, how much does it cost? How do you guys make money?
So if you look at the actual business models, you're going to find two different business models. The business model of trying to influence and push this out, which is the marketing power and the marketing money. So I take the Alex Hormozy approach and the Gary Vee approach, free, 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 and then, you'll get it on the back end. Right now, the value ladder is, hey, this tool and this contract is $1. I would give it away for free, but that dollar lets me actually get, credit card numbers and stuff to track it a little bit easier, instead of letting it out like a novation agreement and then everyone just making up their own little thing and corrupting the structure of this. So I've already, intellectually protected a lot of this stuff so that this couldn't get into the hands and be a profit driven kind of concept and model. So I still have complete control over it to where eventually it's free open right now where wholesalers can get a liaison license and charge, 10-20% what they're normally used to right now. But eventually that's going to get cut back down to, 6%, to kind of keep that out of it, making it more, hey, everyone's teamwork valuing it, not profit valuing this. From the dollar contract that everyone can use, I have a full course for them to actually understand it, how to target real estate agents, how to target contractors, how to target the right property, how to find equity, all that's good stuff for $3,700. Again, that's just a value frame to all of that 3,700 gets revenue back into the marketing of this to spread this out, to influence, to pay for these conversations, to pay for podcasts, all that stuff. From there, the next step is the master license, which is then at that point you get obviously everything underneath you, the membership wise, and then you can go be a liaison for contractor and homeowner and charge an equity percentage on that contract. So if anything beforehand, you can use it for yourself, or you can spread it out and use it for your contractor, for your other homeowners and stuff. But once you become a wealth trading master liaison, that point you can actually monetize using that contract by liaising on a contractor and homeowner together. Now, all of that, even that $14,000 license is pushed back out to the marketing and the influence of spreading this knowledge. My actual business, how I make money, is the 1/4% document usage fee. So since that whole document is copyrighted and protected, I charge a 1/4% equity percentage on that, which again is compared to the 2 to 6% that contractors and homeowners can go get with the bank. So it's still very, very competitive compared to other options that people have to use this. But again, I have to preach what I, teach. Like, cash is trash. Like, all the revenue that comes from the purchasing the contract, the course, and the license, it's all cash. It's trash. I'm focused on equity. So again, my actual business revenue comes from the actual 1/4% equity percentage of people using this contract.
Got it. So I guess kind of like back to my point, I know you said you had a problem, but how many contractors, how many homeowners, how many investors did you actually talk to about this product before launching it? Because I mean, we're
Very
talking
few.
about it now, so I'm going to give you my feedback, but I'm just curious.
Very few. Again, it just came out of what I needed mostly. I could have went around. I talked to a couple people. I found someone in Canada said that they used it, but I couldn't get on a phone call with them and whatnot, where I can get like full details of how they were using it and whatnot. And I'm sure there's other people out there that, again, when you do a JV deal with a contractor, renovation agreement with a contractor, it's the same concept, but this gives it a structurized form to, hey, let's not try to make up our own JV agreement. Let's use this as just a simple invoice agreement, where it's all black and white and put out there.
All right. So, I mean, I know you bought real estate and you're in the military and everything else, and then you grew up in the construction world. So would this be your like first product market fit business? Like where you're actually designing a product for somebody out of thin air?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've done a lot of products over the years, whether they be events, whether they be services, whether they be education, whether they be taxes. Like, I've created a lot of offers over the years. And so you're a Hormozy guy, so we'll speak in, Alex's terms. So, when you make an offer, I mean, I know you're talking about, does it fit in the framework? Maybe, but I think you missed the first step. And I'm just telling you all this now so that you don't waste time and money on just things that were missed from the get-go. So the first miss was measuring how much demand is actually for this. Because just because something fits in an established marketplace doesn't mean anyone wants it. And so the first thing that I always do is I measure demand, like not for free. Like, yo, I want to know how much you'd actually pay for this. Now, it's one thing to go do it for free. I understand getting something off the ground and doing it for free for people, but it's also about, hey, how much would you actually pay for this though if I charged? Because there are people who will take free stuff all day, every day, but the moment you charge, they ain't gonna do it. So when I look at this, I'm like, all right, obviously, like it's a tool that people can use. There's lots of different contracts in real estate and construction, and they're all floating around the world, with just all these different ways of doing a deal. So, what is the demand for this? And the only way you find demand is you ask people, hey, would this help your business at all? Like, how much money do you think having this tool could make you? And the reality is, when I look at it, I've flipped 700 houses. Like, so I've hired a lot of contractors over the years and done, so many things. And I've hired lots of different ones. I don't think any contractor would have done this deal. And the reason is they don't have money. I mean, most of these contractors, they ain't like rolling in the dough, like, all this cash in the bank. They got huge overheads. They got so many employees, inventory, staff. They always have cash flow issues. So for me to be like, hey, dude, don't, I'm not going to pay you, just at the end of the day, like when I flip this property and I sell it, then you're going to get paid back an equity percentage and whatever else. Um, you might get contractors who are investment minded that would take the deal. But I mean, to be honest, they don't really need anything crazy. I mean, I've done those kinds of deals before. It's been ultra rare. Um, like I've had wholesalers who were also GCs and they're like, hey, I'll wholesale you this deal, but I want to GC it so I can make some money on the GC. I'm like, all right, whatever. And that's a form of partnering in a way. I've had them some just say, hey, like I'll GC the work, I'll just charge it at cost, and then let's split profit on the back. And when that happens, I'm like, no, like I got the deal. I don't need like you're not doing anything special. I can find any contractor to fix this house up. So at the end of the day, if this is going to be a 50K profit, and I know that the construction is 30 grand and you're making your profit within the 30 grand, I'm not just going to pay you 20 grand for, material and labor. And then all of a sudden now I have to pay you 30 grand, or 30 extra thousand because I'm giving you profit split and all that stuff. Like that it doesn't make sense as the investor. And you also got to remember most of these investors who
They already
like,
got cash.
what? They
So
already
they
got
already
cash.
got cash and they make more money by not giving their equity. I understand. Yeah.
Well, and also too, even the ones who don't have cash, they're getting hard money loans who have construction already built into it. So it's like they're already going to get all their construction paid for. Like they've already built it all into it. So I kind of look at this and I'm like, huh, the investor's not really going to want to do it. The contractor's not going to really want to do it because they don't even have money. Like most of these contractors just can't do it. And most contractors and most business owners in general, this is people in general, right? So if you're trying to sell something, the thing that gets somebody to take action or buy is more so fear than upside. And so if I'm a contractor and this guy presents this opportunity, well, most guys aren't upside driven where they're like, bro, you could make an extra 10K selling this thing, yada yada yada. That like they're going to be more fear driven of like, dude, what if this guy doesn't sell the house and now I got to pay my guys and I'm out 30 grand, 50 grand on this project and the house doesn't sell. The guy changes his mind. He wants to, turn it into a rental property. Now he screwed me. And, you know, like I just don't even see a demand for why they would want to do it. And even if they did, then I would say they'll just do like honestly, they probably will want not equity, but more concrete of what it will be. So I would imagine they'll probably say, because they don't want to deal with figuring out like percentages and what it's actually like. They're going to be like, all right, you know what? My job costs 30 grand. I'll wait until you flip it, but you're going to pay me 40 grand. And it's just a deal that you guys make because, he's willing to wait to get paid. Um, so like that's my honest opinion of like it's going to be so hard. And this is the problem too. This is what, Hormozy and I've learned this in offers too. Like it all starts with the offer. And so offer includes demand, it includes value, scarcity, urgency, all of these things that make someone want to buy it. If the offer's already not like applicable to a lot of people and you still try to sell it, I mean, you're going to cut your teeth trying to convince people to buy something they don't necessarily need. It's not solving their problem, right? Because you could go to all these realtors and be like, because remember, you're not the only one pitching realtors and investors on how to make more money and more tools they can use, right? Because they're hearing from you, hey, do this thing. And then they're hearing from me like, hey, I got leads for you. And they're like, oh, snap. Yeah, I need leads. Like, I need leads to get deals. Let's do that. And then they got some other guy saying, hey, uh, we got this new countertop that's half the price. You want to use these new countertops? Whatever the case is. And then you got some other guy who's like, hey, let's do a Renovation. Like there's just so many offers out there and the marketplace is inundated with them. And so my point is, if this is like the first true feedback you're getting, which it sounds like it is, I think you need to really reiterate the offer and find out what people are actually willing to use it for. And some of my best products started off this way where they absolutely got like no love from the marketplace, but I did get the feedback and I'm like, okay, so that's not what you're after, but you are telling me that this is a problem. Okay, let me tweak this to go solve this problem now. And then, it's like the story of Instagram. Instagram started as a whiskey app. People would post pictures of whiskey, and that was the app. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's all they did. And then eventually, it turned into there's not a ton of people that really want to post whiskey pictures. This is kind of dumb. But people are like, dude, like the pictures on here, there's no place to post pictures though. And Instagram's like, well, maybe we'll rebrand. And it was called like Bourbon. That was the name of the app. And so they rebranded. And then it was like, all right, this is a place where you're going to post really high quality pictures of anything. And sure enough, now there's tons of demand for that. And it's the same idea, just reiterated to fit
Yeah.
a broader demand. And so my point is, I think you don't have demand. I'm just being straight up for you, being in this business. Like the way I know, like if something's good, is like I would not tell anyone to use this. And I have thousands of students because it just doesn't, I don't think it helps them. And it might help one transaction out of 1,000. And it's like, so what's the point of even learning this tactic?
Well, the simple thing is that it's not much that you have to learn. So the people that are actually using this, they don't have to learn anything new besides what they already, the skills that they already know. The homeowner already knows the values of the house.
Learning's not the
Contract
problem though. It's like the point
is
is,
the
when would they
marketing.
use it? Like why would I use it?
So it's hard for me to sit here in the next 45 minutes and go through every point that you just pointed out. And that's why I have to, marketing niche down, niche slap, you know what I mean? And it's hard for me because I don't have one client. I have a contractor client, I have a homeowner client at minimum, and then I have realtors, wholesalers, and everyone else as clients. So for each of those needs and problems that those people have, I don't have the time. It's only been 6 months of 12 to 14-hour days just to build out what I already have. Currently I'm trying to expand to get people on here as a team member. I got Jason Woohoo that said he's going to hop on, help me out to actually niche down some funnels of actual clients and
And
whatnot.
by the way, I think niching down is smart because you just said there's 6 different people that require 6 different pitches.
Yep.
Clearly, that's impossible because you can't jump on a podcast or start marketing and be like, oh, well, here's my realtor pitch. This is what I would say. Like, it's like, yo, we help realtors do X, Y, Z. And that's what's going to be, then your pitch is congruent. You know exactly who's going to buy it. Very few products are made for realtors and wholesalers and contract. Like, no products are made for everyone.
There's one. There's
What?
one. Yes.
No, like it's not, maybe one day, but not today, not anytime
Yeah, I
soon.
know. This is a long game, a very, very long game I'm playing. This is 4 or 5 years plan that I'm playing out. We're just in the beginning phase of the first year. Again, it
Oh,
may
and I
take
get that.
me.
And I'm telling you, as a guy who's done a lot of deals, who like coaches students for a living, who talks about lots of different real estate concepts. I've done all the contracts you can imagine with securitizing deals and all this different stuff. Like, I'm just telling you, like, don't go into this head down because you've put all this time and effort and energy getting it to this point, and then try to bulldoze your way saying, no, 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 these guys, they don't get it. Because I already know that's where your head's at. You're like, they don't get it. Like, this is why it's like, no, bro, listen to the market. And I'm not the entire market, but if nobody's buying it and nobody's paying for the thing, and I know you haven't tried to like go market like crazy yet, I understand that. But when you start getting feedback and then you start hearing the same things, be quick to pivot. Like, let ego and everything else go with it and be like, all right, this is not the play, but this is what people want.
Yeah, the main feedback I got from other investors was being able to use it for multiple properties. If they got 3 or 4 properties, they want to be able to pull out 25K out of that property, 50K out of the other property to go use on their new property. And again, it's the point where I need, like you said, I need to get this out there to get some kind of feedback first. So where I
So
can
let's
actually start
take that.
adapting
I
the
think that's a good
contract.
problem to solve. So these guys want HELOCs without getting a HELOC. That's basically what they're saying. So your solution to them is saying, hey, basically, I can get a contractor to give you a HELOC. That's basically it, right?
Well, my product's not a HELOC, so mine's just, it gets rid of the bank, so it's no longer a HELOC and you have
Oh,
to
I know
deal with them.
it's not a HELOC, but the idea, it's the exact same idea, right? Like,
Right,
you
so
guys want to pull
contractors,
out money on their current properties,
right.
HELOC, essentially. Call it whatever
So
you want.
everyone that uses, as a contractor, they use Hearth, or there's one other big construction financing company to offer their clients for financing. Again, that is just offering a bank loan or a HELOC or some other kind of financing term. A lot of contractors get in there thinking like that, oh, well, you're gonna give me the access to, offering my own financing terms or my own financing structure for a client because they don't know how to structure that for them, their own company.
But the
So
contractor
they go
needs
to
the
Hearth.
cash to be able to do this.
Some do. So some contractors have homeowners pay for the materials up front. Some contractors want everything paid up front. Some contractors won't get paid until the job is done. So
Right.
it's
But the
all
ones who
that's
don't, but once again, the ones who wait until the job's done is because they have cash. That's my
correct.
point. There's no way
Yeah,
this works unless the contractor has cash. Is
for those type of contractors, yes. If you're looking at the contractors that have small jobs,
no,
handyman
no, but
service,
even a big GC, they can't do this unless they have cash. That's the only reason they can
correct,
do it. That's the point.
correct. Just like
So
any other investment, you need cash for.
yeah. So the point is, right, if you have contractor, what you're doing is there's guys who, okay, hey, and I've done this. So I need cash to go do whatever, right? And I got all these assets with equity and whatever else. So I'll go to a private lender who I know has cash and I'll say, hey, dude, put a second on this rental. And they'll be like, all right, I don't need a HELOC. I don't need, like, it's private money. He goes and puts a second on it. You're doing the same thing. It's just you're asking a contractor to be the private money. That's all that's happening in this transaction at a basic level.
Yep.
And so this is kind of my point is you have this kind of weird product where it's like, all right, I got to go find contractors who have cash that basically want to be private money lenders. I mean, that is the whole gist of this business. And there's way more people who have cash that are not contractors that could function and do the exact same thing because they just are normal everyday people with cash. So when you're competing and trying to sell this idea, I'll be like, well, so I got to find a contractor who's willing to basically be my private money lender. And they're going to secure it through your document. And they're not putting a second. It's just different, whatever they're doing.
It is a
But
second. It's got to get publicly recorded with the deed.
okay, so it's literally the same exact thing.
Yeah.
I'm just finding a contractor who wants to be my private lender.
Yep.
Like, how is that a better option even for that situation? That's kind of my point.
The better option for the contractor, for the homeowner.
For the homeowner, like I have to find a contractor willing to do this when I could find anyone willing to do this who will just do private money.
Because on the homeowner that's doing private money with anyone else, they're getting charged 2 to 6% compared to the 1/4% they get charged with the contractor.
Why would the contractor do it for 1/4%?
He doesn't have an option.
What
He
do you mean the
doesn't,
contractor doesn't have an
the
option?
contractor can't upcharge an extra equity percentage on there. He can only convert his cash into the equity percentage. So the $10,000 gets swapped to the exact $10,000 of the equity of the home of whatever the value is after the renovation's done.
But these are
And
already
then the
done.
only extra
But
fee
these
on there
properties are
is
already done. You said this is a different example. These guys already have rentals and properties that are done. The contractor's doing no work on them.
he can only use that for work. So it's not like if a homeowner's got 50K in 3 properties that he wants to pull out equity wise, the contractor can only convert that for his construction work. So he can only take his whatever
So he
50K
needs
that
this basically guy needs another deal to do, and he's going to secure it against his other properties. But wouldn't he just secure it against this deal, the current deal?
right, that's what I told them. I was like, look,
So you
you
literally you
take it to
can't solve their
after.
problem.
Well, it already solves them. They just need to be educated on how it operates.
Well,
So
but
if I
like
had
they need another deal for this to work.
he had a empty lot of land that he wanted 100K worth, but he had 200K in equity in his other properties.
Yep.
He could just look at the screenshot of that after the equity's done on that property, the proper way to do it, and just pull the equity out of that. But let's say he's
Which property?
maximizing the empty lot land.
The
Let's
one that's
say
the one the contractor is going to work on.
correct.
Okay.
So he should be taking just the equity out of that, so that all stays the same. So like, hey, if that's going to be 200K afterwards and the build's 175K, there's only 25K of equity in there. So I need an extra 25K equity somewhere else to lean against to put the extra 25 to the 50K work that's there that I still need. Does that make sense? So if I'm doing a property that
Yeah, you're
doesn't
cross
have enough value in
collateralizing.
it,
Yeah,
correct.
I get it. But the original example you brought up with, once again, listening to what their problems are. They said, I would love this if I could just get HELOCs essentially against my rentals without having to go through the banks and all this headache, right? And you're
But you
like,
have to go through
well,
them.
you can't really do that because, they're not working on those properties specifically. You would need a new property for them to be working on. And, you would take the equity against that new property, and that's how you would do it, assuming you could find a contractor who's willing to float you and basically be your private money lender. Like that's your answer to that question. Um, the simple answer is, oh yeah, you have lots of equity in your properties. You got 200 grand here, 200 grand here. All right. I mean, how much do you need? You need 100,000. All right, we just got to find you a private lender who's willing to put a second on one of your deals. And we don't need a new deal to do that. We just got to find anyone in the world willing to give you 100,000 at whatever rate you guys negotiate, right? Or buy into your property and be a co-owner with you and buy the actual equity, kind of like what you're describing. I mean, most people are just doing interest when they do things like that.
Yeah, the main point there was they were trying to cross collateralize of the new land that they didn't have enough equity in to do the build on. So they had to
Yeah.
pull extra equity out of the other property. The main thing is that there's no cash transactions happening, which makes this unattached to the financial world and the financial laws and regulations because you're doing a trade between work and equity.
No,
Obviously,
like
like
I
you
said,
said, the
I
business of a
totally get
contractor
I
has
understand
overhead.
exactly what you're doing. I'm just like transparently saying I think you just don't have the demand that is like the main part of this. I remember Hormozy, he lives here in Vegas. Him and he's spoken at my event. We've met many times. And one thing he said that I've said, but he said it in a smarter way. That's usually what he does. Is he's like, you know, you could be a level 10 entrepreneur in a level 1 market. You will always lose in a level 1 market, even if you're level 10. But if you're a level 2 entrepreneur in a level 10 market, then you're going to have a better chance of success, right? And like the best way to describe it would be, you see all these crappy guys who got rich during the crypto boom. These guys buying Dogecoin, they don't know what they're doing, but freaking they killed it because they're in level 10 market at that time, right? And then you take a level 10 guy, like let's just say it's me. And, you know, I go into the newspaper business and it's like, well, There's not much I can do in the newspaper business. Ain't nobody buying them anymore. It's slowly dying. I could be the best freaking entrepreneur. I could have the best tech, the best IP, the freaking everything, but it does not matter because there's no demand for newspapers. And my point with what you're doing is I just don't think you properly evaluated the demand of your market. And I think you're trying to force something that's not there. And I think there is a form of your product that does have demand. And I would encourage you to find where that is, to listen to the customer base and hear where people are constantly having problems over and over again. And I think that that's going to lead you into how to use this tool for the right niche and the right avatar, because you're never going to get all 6 different industries. Okay. Like Zillow doesn't need investors. Zillow doesn't need anyone. They're strictly just getting single family homeowners. They don't need to compete with CoStar. They don't need to do any of that. They're billions of dollars just doing what they do, you know? And CoStar's the same. CoStar doesn't need single family. They're just going to go do their thing. Apartments.com is just going to go and mess with apartments. You can build massive ideas just going really deep, solving one person's problem. You know, Hormozy made his money selling gym owners their problem. He didn't think about all the other problems he's solving today of just general business. But, you know, the point is, I think you're going to have to like interview and pitch all these different guys and write down all their objections, and then take all those objections and say, hey, what are the common things that everyone keeps saying about this? And you heard my objections. I brought up a few. Then go interview another guy, another guy, another guy, and just start to hear what they say, and then hear, hey, what, like, okay, so tell me, I get that you know you don't want to use it, you don't think there's demand for it, but what do you think it could be used for? Like what problem could this solve? And then you're going to start to get closer and closer to your answer of where this product actually is going to go. Because right now it's here, and it could go 7 different ways. And there is a path. I believe there is a path for it, but it's not, I can tell you, I don't think it's the path you think currently that you just pitched me on.
Everyone does. No one that starts out is usually finds the correct path until they've been in it long
Yeah.
enough. And I obviously have not been in it long enough. And that's what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? Obviously, you are in your own position to where you're actually teaching students and stuff, and you're getting feedback from students, especially on the hard money side, because this is again another issue with the hard money side. Yeah, you get money from that hard money, but it's not until afterwards. And I still have to upfront that contractor for at least a week, and sometimes a month and a half. I haven't gotten draws paid out from hard money lenders. That's the issue. You know what I mean? So like
And,
I get it
and,
that it's
and,
my
and
issues.
but by the way, that's now you're starting to get closer to the truth of that's actually a problem. You're right.
Like I
Like,
said, I can spend the all day going down through each customer on this and niche slap each one of these. And that's where it comes down to I got to push out more content so that I can have enough content for the contractor, enough content for every other person, to where I can get enough feedback from every other person and figure out where that good pathways
just so you
is.
know, I don't think that, and this is another feedback, I don't think that people are going to want equity, like as far as like the contractors, because in most cases, we're just talking about flips and stuff. Because these contractors, for most of them, they're going to need their cash. They might be able to float it for a little bit for you, but they're going to need their cash. And so having to go through this issue of appraisals and percentage, like it's just confusing,
And
right?
that's mainly what my $3,700 course does. It breaks down each character and player on this game to go down to, all right, if you're a contractor, there's these type of contractors. If you're hurting for cash, target these type of people. It's the real estate agents that's got listings that do it in a month turnaround. If you got a contractor that's got plenty of cash but needs to get into investing wealth and can upfront his own cash, you want to target these properties with these equity percentage and this kind of teamwork players. That's what mainly that $3,700 course does, is break down the contractor problem, break down the
I
investor
get it.
problem, break down the
I mean, I
homeowner, the
get that you're going to,
realtor.
my point is you're going to try and solve every problem, but I guarantee it's the 80-20 rule. There's going to be one scenario that keeps playing out and the other stuff just doesn't really matter, right? And I'm pretty certain the scenario that will play out with the investors and hard money and solving that issue is simply going to be interest or a flat, just whatever that money is, right? It's like, all right,
Yep.
dude, you know what? We need to get 20 grand of work done before I can get my draw. I'd really like you to front the 20 grand throughout the entire project. And, you know, it's a $50,000 project because you're going to front me the money on these draws. I'm going to pay you 60 instead. Like that's how I envision 80% of deals playing out. Like that's an easy thing for people to conceptualize on a flip versus, well, dude, I'm going to give you 6% of this deal. And then now I got to prove to him what the deal is worth. Now I got to do these different things.
So maybe that's where the misconnection. You're not giving them extra equity for doing this. You're just converting his equity, his cash into the equity. He
I get
doesn't get
that.
a, like I put on there on the calculator where it separates his actual work, his cost of work, labor and material, and then he has his business profit. At that business profit is where they discuss, all right, this is where my quality is and my business risk is. That's what they discuss of whatever their normal cash invoice is. So if he's got a normal 10,000 cash labor and cost of work, then all right, am I going to do 20% or 30%? And right now it's not even at that. It's 100 and 200% that some of these contractors are doing profit margin wise, which is again a whole nother macro level of issue we can spend all day going into. But again, it's trying to stabilize that construction pricing for also the homeowner and the investor. Because right now you can go ask a contractor, can I see your material list? A lot of them will just say, bye, I'm on to the next client. And I understand that because you got
But you got
contractor
to
coaches.
remember the contractors are doing the homeowners a favor by also being their lender. Why are they going to go do all these jump through all these hoops and hurdles for the homeowner to get
17%. That's why. So when you
what's
do look at long-term capital gains, it's 17% difference just from the top of the top rate class. Again, it's obviously dependent on how they structured their
why are we
business and
talking
what
about
policy.
like if we're talking about a flip right now?
Right, but if I'm charging and getting paid out in equity rather than cash, that changes the profit. That changes me to capital gains instead of ordinary income. And at that point, I automatically save
You're going to
17%.
be an ordinary income on a flip.
If I hold it for longer than a year, it's a long-term capital gain
That's
because
not a
I'm
flip. That's not a flip. We're not, I mean, once again, I'm going back to the scenario of the guy who's getting a hard money loan doing a normal flip, right?
okay. Well, normal flip. The last four of mine have taken longer than a year.
But that's not everyone else. A
Right.
normal flip is not a year.
Right. At that point, they can mitigate that at that 20 to 30% profit margin. So then, like you said, they're going to come down to us, hey, I'm giving you this favor. I'm going to give another 5% on my profit margin. You know what I mean? And that's
Now I got to go prove to them my profit margin. My point is, if you can just give them a flat amount of whatever it's going to be, however you calculate that through the software in the back end, it's easier for contractors to understand. Because I'm smart, okay? And we've been talking for almost an hour. And you have to explain this to me like in all these guys are not going to understand what you're saying if we're trying to make a deal.
yeah. I didn't, yeah, I should have came on here and just pitched you as the investor and just went through all the
No, but
investor
like I already
benefits.
under I
But
don't you don't need to pitch. Like I understand already how hard the pitch is. My point is the pitch is very simple to a contractor who's usually not that smart. And it's just like, bro, I need you to front 20K until I get my draw each step of the way. Okay.
yep.
I know this job is 50K. I'll give you extra for doing it this way. And that's the deal. I mean, that's really the problem you're solving for the flipper. You're solving their problem of getting the cash until they get the draw. It's a big problem to solve. This is my point. And it doesn't need to be any more complex than that, where it's just like, all right, I'll give you extra because you helped me solve this problem. So, yeah, that's
Yeah, I've
take
tried
it.
that with some contractors. They just don't trust investors right now. Again, their current contract and invoice is as much as they put a lien on the property afterwards if you don't pay them that, that
Yeah,
extra that you promised them. This puts it a lien on the property beforehand and they're secured to whenever the
I
property gets sold.
well, I'm saying they would use your thing, right, to securitize them
Yeah.
so they're safe on that. I'm not saying them not to use your thing. I'm just saying make the pitch to them by using your thing very simple of like, yo, you're going to get, your 20K plus, well, instead of paying 50K for the total job, I'm going to pay you 60K. because you're going to use this form of, how we're going to do this. And like that deal is simple to everybody. It takes 2 seconds to explain. And then it's like, all right, cool. You're good with that. Awesome. So this is going to securitize you, with this document. So that way you're square, I have to pay you when I sell this property. I can't get out of it. So here you go. That's how I would pitch that. And I think there is a real need for a simple pitch like that. But the moment you start talking about capital gains rates and you start talking about XYZ, like, and also too, remember, disassociate your experience compared to everyone else, because the average flip does not take a year. That's a disaster. Which is
obviously. But marketing it to have people retain in the story and whatnot, they need some kind of story. And usually when it's the personal story, you can put some kind of history back to it. Whether that's everyone's story, obviously it's not everyone's story, but it gives
it's not everyone's, it's definitely not anyone's story who's an active flipper, who's like, dude, if you won't be an active flipper, you'll be a contract guy if all your flips take over a year, right? Like it's impossible to stay in business. Well, bro, like I said, I don't want it to come off like discouraging or anything. I'm just like giving you my
I understand all the points you're making.
The product. Yeah. And like I said, I mean, take it for what it's worth, but that's my feedback on it. Simplify it and like target, like you said, target one niche that it starts to really stick out for. I really do believe, like, based on everything you told me, that last scenario actually solves a problem out of like more than any of the other ones. And there's lots of demand for it. There's tons of people flipping houses every day. And so, and you're not asking contractors to just be your private lender for like a long period of time and get equity in this rental property. You're asking them to essentially front you 10K, 20K. They're fronting you draws, essentially. Like that pitch, I could see really easily crushing it with flippers of like, guys, you tired of not having enough money to cover your draws and everything? What if you could get your contractors to cover your draws for you? Well, we got the tool for that. Bam.
Yeah, just niching down and slap it down for the market pains and whatnot. And again,
because you'll find that five out of the 6 ones just, there's just not a huge market for it. But then you're like, all the flippers are like, this is such a bit, and it is. I already know it's a problem for them.
So it's just like you see the problem. I see other investors that have these other problems and other contractors and realtors that have these problems.
Well, everybody's got problems, but who has the most common problem that has lots of people?
Yeah. And that's where I go back to the vet, making sure this is so valid that it fits in everyone's problem. I understand like the marketing, it's not the best marketing strategy. I understand I need to niche down and get the specific to maximize it. And that's why I'm trying to spread out the team of, all right, well, Jason can handle this marketing of this industry and this pain, and I can get another funnel guy on this market and this industry and pain, and get a general 5 people working at this at once instead of 1 person working at this once.
Yeah. And then, you'll see which one is actually the market.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. Well, best of luck. You need anything, let the team know. And yeah, dude, like, I think, like I said, I would niche down and figure out which one that is. All right.
Appreciate it.
All right. See ya.